Hanji, welcome everyone. So today we are starting shloks and 48th of Asa Ki Vaar. Hanji, Gurjitveer ji, can you give us like the basic message of the first shlok? Hanji, Gurjitveer ji.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਵੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਸ਼ਲੋਕ ਸਟਾਰਟਸ ਵਿਦ ਸ਼ਲੋਕ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਪੁਰਖਾਂ ਬਿਰਖਾਂ ਤੀਰਥਾਂ ਤੱਟਾਂ ਮੇਘਾਂ ਖੇਤਾਂ ਦੀਪਾਂ ਲੋਆਂ ਮੰਡਲਾਂ ਖੰਡਾਂ ਵਰਭੰਡਾਂ ਅੰਡਜ ਜੇਰਜ ਉਤਪਜਾਂ ਖਾਣੀ ਸੇ ਤਜਾਂ ਸੋ ਮਿਤਿ ਜਾਣੈ ਨਾਨਕਾ ਸਰਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਜਨਤਾ ਨਾਨਕ ਜੰਤ ਉਪਾਇ ਕੇ ਸੰਮਾਲੇ ਸਭਨਾ जिन करतै करना किया चिंता भी करनी था सो करता चिंता करे जिन उपाया जग तिस जो हारी स्वस्थ तिस तिस दीवान भग नानक सच्चे नाम बिन क्या टिक्का क्या तग पुरख is singular पुरखा is plural. So Purkha is someone who comes, everyone is born into this sansar as a Purkh. He need to complete himself. Pura hon lai aaya hai. He is not a Karta Purkh, he is a Purkh. So that he can become one with the Sachkhand. Jadon pura ho janda, when he is complete in himself. When a Purkha, some are born as Purkh, but some of them are promoted to the next stage of Purana Brahma, Birkha. Birk is something which gives you flower first and then fruit. Nanak Gur Santokh Rukh Dharma Full Phal Gyan. So this is related to not a tree outside, because they've got nothing to do with the tree. It's just an example that is tree gives you fruit. Same way a Purkh, if he gets into a state of Purana Brahm or integrated soul, where his man and chit are united, he becomes a Birk. Then he is in contact with Sachkhand. And then he becomes a Tirath, Tirtha. So this has been happening since the universe has been created. The Purkhs are coming, some of them gets into Birks. We have 35 Birks in Gurbani. Then we have Tirtha, wherever they stayed. Guru Nanak stayed at Kartarpur, that was a Tirath, because he was able to propagate the ideology of truth, Gurmat. Whosoever can preach Gurmat, he has to become a Birk first. And then from Birk, he becomes a preacher, he becomes a Tirath. But all the Hindu Tiraths, if you see, are on the banks of the rivers. There may be someone there to preach you, but there may be a lot of thugs there too. But this Tirtha is like Guru Nanak was there, Guru Angad went to Khadur, Guru Amar Das as Goindwal. So all these, they were Tirths, where you could get the knowledge to get liberated from the Maya. Tatta. Tatta is one tat is from one end to the other, from Pavsagar to Sukhsagar. They will give you such an advice so that you can cross over from one bank to the other. Both have banks. Sachkhand has got its own bank, Pavsagar its own bank, so from one bank to the other bank. Megha. How? Through Updesh. Megh is almost referred to as cloud, but clouds have rain in them. So they shower the rain of mercy on the other jeeves, and the mercy or the shower goes into the kheta, into the hearts of other jeeves, who will ultimately complex. The words chosen are basically what you see outside, but they're all related to the stages of Brahm within us. So Purkh, from Purkh to Birk, once you're Birk, you can advise other people. Nanak Gurmukh dekh dikhaye. Gurmukh has seen his self himself. Then he can help others to see their selves. So that becomes Tirath, and from Tirath, if someone takes the knowledge, He crosses over from one to the other end, from one Bhavsagar to Sukhsagar. It's done through Megh, which is nothing but it's a shower of mercy, through the knowledge, through the wisdom. And what happens is their Khet is the Hirda where you have to sow the name. So the name, the Naam actually will grow from there and you will attain that. Then he says about what is the state of all the jeeves here. Deepa. Deep, you understand, is a lamp. Deep also means island. But doesn't mean island. This means the Hirda where the lamp is enlightened. Loa. Lo is also the light. There are two lows. One is in the Hirda, another is in the Trikuti. They are all in Mandal. They are all Khandat. And Varpand is nothing but the visible world. There are five elements we say. Panchputak Sharir. The fifth one is the Chetan. The four are Varpand. What you say, the earth, the fire. What else? There are another two. Water. So these are the four are actually the Varpand. So within a Varpand there is a Jyot. The Jyot is Khanda, and it is in the Mandal or in the Kat, and these are known as referred as Loa. There are two Loas in each of us. You need to get into one Lo. That's what you call Ik. Then all these Loas have come into this through four methods only. There are only four methods of getting the Brahma into the Maya. Either it is Andaj through eggs, like hens and others, they lay eggs outside. Then Jairaj is mammals like us, who the eggs fertilize within mother's body. Then Utpuja is all these plants who can't move, but they give you fruit and all the food for the other three, what you call Rashis. This is actually Chaurasi, what we call it. There are four methods: Andaj 1, Jairaj 2nd, Utpuj 3rd, and Setaj 4th. Rashi is what we have come here. So the God has, or the Parmeshwar, Parbrahm has generated this system that on this earth we come either in one of the four forms as a Brahm and then gain knowledge and attain the next stage. So these are actually Chaurasi, Char Rasiyan, not 84. So this has been very nicely clarified here. Then Nanak says, So mit jane Nanaka. The one who has generated all these things, like the one who has created the Varpand for us, he knows the state of affair of every single being. So miti jane. Perfectly he understands our demands. He knows what is in our heart. And where are those jants? Sara. Sara is sarovars, means in water. Mera is on the outside the water. Mer is normally considered as a mountain. Mer, pahad. So anything who is either in water or outside water on the land, he knows the demands, he knows the actions, he knows everything about all his jants because he is the big father. Then they say Nanak Jant Upaika. The Jant has been created out of, from the Jeev, you become a Jant. When you come from Sachkhand, you are a Jeev, but when you get this body with five senses, you become a Jant. Sammale Sabna. But one part of your thing, your Chitta, is always in connection with the Sachkhand. That is Sammale is connection. And everyone is connected. That's why he knows our demands. The Man is further connected to the Mool, or whatever I said before. The Jant has got two parts, Man and Chit. Chit is always connected to the Sachkhand. The Man is connected to Chit, but the Man is not connected to Sachkhand. So Man sometimes do things which then are reported, how the G is behaving in this sansar. Then Jin Karta Karna Kiya. Nanak says, whosoever There are two kartas. There's a big karta, Purna Brahm karta, who has created this universe. And then there is a Brahma karta, the one within us. Karnak chinta bhi karnita hai. The one inside us is also looking for protection, and the whole big Father is looking for everyone. So we are just being looked after very well. We are not being just thrown out of Sachkhand and that we are on our own. We are being properly cared for. There is someone, Sachkhand is caring for us. Chin karte karna kiya, chinta bhi karni tha. So karta. So this is a so karta is a singular big karta. The Sachkhand, chinta kare. Jinnu paya jag, the one who has made the jant, ji into jant, he has got, he's caring for everyone. Chinta means he, not anxiety. Karta doesn't have anxiety like us because we have lack of resources. He doesn't have lack of resources. So he still is careful. We'll say that way. He's not in any anxiety. Jinnu paya jag, he's the one who created all these four elements. Tis Johari, this is how we'll read it. Anyone whose wisdom has surrendered in front of the hukum. This Johari, what happens to that? Swasthate, she gets, you can say, in a better health, spiritual health. Swasth hunda, nirog sharir, diseaseless. Like we have a home. Home is the biggest disease to the atma or to the soul. But if the soul surrenders in front of the hukum, this is with an anchored hukum. Jo, anyone, Hari. Hari or Balahari are same. Hari means I have surrendered myself. So astatis. Then he gives him the Shabad. That's the Naam which is to be. The first action is through Jap, through Simran, through Tap, we have to we have to shred our ego. Then what he does, this Swastatis, then he gives us a connection with the Shabad or the Naam. Tis Divana Pagan. Then when you get the Naam, you get into the court. Divan is actually not a court. Divan is a congregation. We say we are going to Sunday Divan. There is no court over there. There is a congregation in which everyone is going to sit and listen. So all those, the word apag is very important. It's actually apang. So when the G come here, he's swapang. When he is this Johari, Swastatis, then he gets into a stage of apang. You can read it both way, apag or apang, they are similar words. This Divan. But in that Divan, everyone is apang, Purna Brahm. That congregation of Sachkhand is nothing but it's a collection of Purna Brahms. Nanak Sache Naam bin, but Nanak is asking here a Pandit who is just wearing some religious robes, like all religions, all faiths do that. Every faith has got some sort of sign or some clothing to wear or something to put around the neck. These are just the indicators that I belong to that sort of faith. But Guru Nanak is asking a Pandit because he wears a tikka. And he also says, what is the use of wearing a tikka and what is the use of wearing such a janev when you have not got into a stage of apang divan, not in contact with Shabad Guru? What's the use of getting into any faith if you can't attain that ultimate, which Gurmat says is the ultimate attainment for a Gurmukh, to obtain the Naam Padarth? So I'll stop it here. Ji Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
हाँ जी, thank you वीर जी. हाँ जी, चेतनदीप.
हाँ जी वीर जी.
Yeah. Okay, जी. I think so you can add anything, but I want you to if you can little bit elaborate regarding chinta. Like we see a lot of people around us in the world die of hunger and other things, and without any of their own fault. So how we can correlate this statement, because we are in very comfortable life mode, so we can say this thing but we see people, we hear people who are still dying every day, hundreds of them, because of hunger, or other things, and none of their fault because they're born in that family. So how we can relate these two lines with those people who have to do chinta, because otherwise they will die if they don't uh, think about it. Anchetan.
Uh, Vijay, I think you made a big assumption when you said that we are living in pretty comfortable lives. Outside, it might look like we have a lot of resources. We have, we might be in the top 5 or 1% of, you know, on the wealth scale or whatever it is. It. But I think you are mistaken when you said we live in pretty comfortable mode. Because as I see myself, even though I might have all the resources, materially, I might be even more anxious than the people who don't have even food to eat at night. And that is my state of mind. So, I mean, and this body, I think, uh, is asking me to get out of that chinta or anxiety that I have within me at every moment by showing us at least. So, Guru Nanak has very beautifully portrayed the world around us, starting with us as nature, Purkha, us as people, and shown us the entire universe around us, starting with like Puri Kainat, like the Kudrat that he has been talking about in the first 7 bodies in Asa Ki Vaar. He has shown us starting from within, from us to the surroundings and beaches and clouds and everything that is around us. And he's telling us that there is a system that is running. Right? So myth jane nanka. The myth is a system. The system that is running. Everything is in hukam. And that's what we read in the previous bodies as well. That uh, pੈ which pavan vahe sadvao pੈ which chale lakh triyao. So everything is in a system. And he's saying that he has created this whole system. And as Gurjeet Virji said, that he has not left us alone here. We are being looked after. We are being cared for. And that's what Nanak is driving this point home, that even though it might look like that, even though we feel alone, we feel anxious, but he is taking care of us. And by giving all these examples, he's saying, Nanak is showing us that he is caring for us. And all he's trying to tell, or the message that Guru Nanak is giving us here, is this word Johari, right? So we were reading this word previously as one word Johari, but I think Johari makes more sense. And this will again come in the body also. So this Johari, so the one who surrenders or who gives up his own mind, own man, he unites and he lives chinta mukt, anxiety free. And further, he says he has created this contrast here between the nature that exists that he has covered in first 4 lines of this slok, and then what we try to do as uh, humans. We try to create our own symbols, or we try to, like, he's created a contrast between inner and outer here. So he's saying Johari, the one who surrenders, he's going to get vadiyai, or he's the one who is going to, like in the congregation or in the divan, he's the one who is going to get vadiyai, not the ones who are doing and thinking about external things. So I'm not sure, like, the question you asked is a third person question, like why some people of no fault of their own, like what where I am standing and what I see, that everybody, no matter who, irrespective of how much material or how much non-material wealth they have, I think we are in chinta. At least I can say that for myself. So I cannot comment on the people who are out there who don't have food. At least I can see I have tons of food to eat, and I think uh, I am in chinta. So the
And
mess the message I get here is from this slok is that look carefully around you, that he is caring for you, and there's no need to be anxious.
Anji, thank you, Vijay. I think very well said. Like, so I think the point is very clear. Like you mentioned that even though we have all the things, like mostly, but we still keep thinking about more and more, or just unnecessary chinta. That, but the message is clear that he is taking care of everyone. He will take care of us.
वाहिगुरु जी का
I also have a question for Gurjeet Virji on a comment he made. It might be a little controversial to ask, or might border on blasphemy. But how does this line apply to the Sikhs that we are? Like Gurjeet Virji made a comment on Nanak Sache Naam bin kya tika kya tag, and he made a comment saying that this line is being said to the Pandit, saying you're wearing around your neck. Every religion or every faith is wearing something. So as Sikhs or as Khalsa, we are wearing what we are wearing, our religious kakars. So if Gurjeet Virji can elaborate on how this applies to us, that will be insightful.
Anji, Gurjeet Virji.
Hanji Viji.
Anji, you heard the question from Telugu?
I mean, in the same sense, कि जे, you know what's the significance of wearing a dastar? Dastar means, Kabir ji says, जैसे रच रच बांधत पाग, so सिर सुंच सवारे काग. What for you are wearing a turban if your mind is still demanding things? He's like a cog. What's the use? You know, these symbols are actually meant for people who can, like Tikka is the one who says, my mind is stable. Tikka means tikav. This is a symbology of tikav that I have got. My mind is coming to the hirda and it's perfectly stable there. That was an indication. And there are different such sorts of tikkas. Vishnu Bhagat's put this, I think, 3 lines, Tripal, Tihal, Bicharang. The other ones put a Shiv Bhagat, this one, Brahma, this one. He's asking them a question, means a general question, that if you're only wearing religious symbols, and you haven't attained the spiritual wisdom, what are the use of showing this to anyone? For us, the star is first thing. Other things I won't comment because they are a part of Khalsa uniform. The 5 kakars, whatever we tell people, is not a part of Sikh. It's a part of a Khalsa army. The one who wants to join the army, he wears that dress. There's no dress for a Khalsa as such. But the Khalsa army person must wear those 5, and he has to give his head too when once required. So, but the same thing applies, you know, wearing a blue clothing, showing that I'm a Nihang and I still have a Hangta in me. So what does that mean to anyone? Nihang means the one who has totally eradicated the Hankar from him. Nihang is without any ego. But, you know, I went to Chamkaur Sahib on 22nd, where they have one of their big, what they call choni or cantonments coming there, and I met to see them. And half of them just bloody druggies. Um, I was told by one of the local doctors that one of them overdosed himself overnight and he was to be admitted. So what is the use of sukha? I mean, if they're just drinking that, what for? So every religion is basically being covered. That just symbologies means nothing until you have accepted the ideology and you have gained the real spiritual wisdom or the real, you can say, enlightenment. Otherwise, all these symbols will mean nothing to anyone, neither to Sikhs, nor to Hindus, Muslims, anyone. Means nothing. So this is my intake on that.
Anji. Thank you, Virji. Anji, Eileen or Chetandeep, any question or feedback on the first look, or we can move forward? We can come back later on this again if you want after the body.
Yeah. No, I don't have anything at this time.
Okay, ji. Chetandeep.
Maybe please continue.
Thank you, ji. Anji, Gurjit ji, can you move to second shlok? Gurjit ji.
हाँ जी वीर जी। महला पहला, लख नेकियां चंगियाइयां, लख पुन्ना परवान, लख तप ऊपर तीर्थां, सहज जोग बेबान, लख सूरतन संग्राम, रण में छुटे प्राण, लख सुरती लख ज्ञान ध्यान, पढ़िया पाठ पुराण, जिन करते करना किया, लिखिया आवण जान, नानक मत्ती मिथ्या, नानक मत्ती मिथ्या, कर्म सच्चा निशान. So the second shlok is in continuation that there are acceptable maryadas, what you call, not the rehats, but maryadas in every faith. Someone said do a neki, means do a good action, good deed. You know, if you see someone is without clothing or he's shivering, just give him a blanket or something. And if someone needs money or something, just, you know, give him those material things. Lakh punna pravan. But these are only acceptable in this world. People accept it as good deeds. It's much more prevalent in Christianity and also in our soul, langar. The things which we do, Gurdwara, yes, so the hungry man can eat it, but I don't think so any hungry man eats it within at least my sort of circle. Everyone goes 10:30 or 11 and straight away to the tea, then they have some pakoras and they hardly go outside and then they take the second meal straight away. Although it is said that it was meant for poor people. So I think poor people in my city still might be struggling for a meal, but still we have it. So all these things are accepted and then later abused on the name of religion. They have been attacked that someone is wanted to do, you know, charities, people run charities, and we all know that even organizations like Red Cross are under fire because they spend half the money and the half goes in administrations or who knows where it goes. So these things we have to be careful, Guru Nanak says, has been going on from ages. Then Lakhtap, then there are some religious people who says, oh, even Sikhs will say, oh, we go to Harmandir Sahib to do Matha Tek there and do a Japji Path. Doesn't matter. He says, Lakh Tap Upar Tirtha. Every religion has accepted Tirths. Like, you know, people go Hajur Sahib, people go Anandpur Sahib. Oh yeah, I will do a Khand Path there, I'll do this. And, you know, all these things doesn't attain a stage of Sahaj Jog Beban. See, Sahaj is Anand Paya Meri Mae, Satguru mein paya, Satguru ta paya Sahaj Seti. Sahaj Seti is awakening stage. They are not helping you to attain all these actions. Sukhmani Sahib Path kara liya, you know, all these actions, Langar la liya. All these things are not helping you to enlighten yourself. Because enlightenment is coming through Bani, through Sunya, Manya, Man ki Tapa is missing in all these. Sahaj Jog Beban is the ultimate stage even in Gurbani. Sahaj Hok Jana, mind goes into Sahaj state, then he becomes a Jog with the mool and it becomes quiet. Beban means without voice or it goes mute. Lak Surtan Sangram, this is much more in Muslim religion. Rana mein chute Puran, that I'm fighting for the jihad. If I die, I go to heaven. This is an indication that this won't give you any liberation. Forget about it. This is what Guru Nanak has said from Sachkhand. It's not Guru Nanak saying himself. He says this is what the Sachkhand says about what is happening around you in different faiths. Lakh surti, lakh gyan, dhyan, padiyan, path, puran. Yogis do all this. Lakhan tarah na surti launi hai, or, you know, If you read Yogmat, you will find what they do. But Guru Nanak, or whatever Gurbani says, basically is not attaining any results for your mukti. Putting part Puran, we do that a lot. Sikhs literally do a lot of parts and after death. So all these things keep on happening. We also, very particular in Sikhism, I've seen someone dies, straight away they will say, oh, Sahaj Path Rakho, Khand Path Rakho. All these things is, Guru Nanak is basically indicating that they are not helping you. They may create even hurdles, but they're not helping. Jin karte karna kiya. Have you ever got in contact with the Karta who has created this world? Did you ask him anytime that why you created the world? What should be my actions? This should only be, it will be cleared in the Pauri that Jin karte karna kiya. Look at the how big the creation has been created, how many species has been created, what all is in the nature. It's why it's just for us to get the mukt padarth. But if you don't, then he will put the avanjan in your around your neck. You will be just reincarnating, reincarnating, and reincarnating. Nothing will happen. Nanak mati mithya. Nanak says all matta, all the faiths before Gurmat, they are mithya. Mithya, you understand? The unreal. We say Ramayana is a myth. We say Mahabharata is a myth. So mithya means which is not real. This word comes in English from our language. We say myth. Here also same word is used. Nanak mati mithya. All faiths are just myths. They're not real faiths except Gurmat. Why? Because in Gurmat, karma sacha nisan. Nisan is actually the voice. Shabad Guru is the Nisan. Nisan is when the Shabad speaks through you. You don't speak anything. The Shabad comes through your heart and you speak as Nanak is speaking. The whole Bani is being spoken by Sachkhand through Nanak or through Kabir or through whatever 35 people. This is the attainment. This is the what we say Nyarapan of Gurmat, that we have to be in contact with the Shabad Guru. That is the karam, that is the bakshish on us. That is the blessing on the Jeev. If you are a part of Mithya Mat or Matti Mithya, you won't attain that. So we have to be very vigilant that what are we doing? Are we moving in a direction of Karma Satcha Nisan, or we are moving in the direction of all the faiths which has been basically criticized here for losing track from the reality. So Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Hanji, thank you, Ji. Chetandeep, want to add anything? Like, I think this looks pretty clear.
I think I more or less agree with Virji. It's a continuation of the first slok, where in the last line he said, Nanak sache naam bin kya tikka kya tag. So he is continuing that and contrasting between what he started in the slok, first slok, between the outer, the nature, and the man-made things that we have come up with in trying to get close to God, or at least perceive. That's what we think, like by doing all these actions that are being enumerated here in this slok. But again, as Virji said, that the hallmark or the nishani or the sign or the flag post of such is karam. So karam, I was a little confused here. The karam here comes with an onkad. So is this bakshish, or with the onkad, is this action, like my karam of giving up my home, that came in the first slok as well, Jo Hari. So is this karam, does this karam refer to the karam of Jo Hari, of giving up, of surrender, or this karam as we understand, is the bakshish that happens either with Johari or after Johari. So, but in the end, I think uh, the message is clear that आप गवाए सेवा करे जो कुछ पाए मान, Johari and then the bakshish. So that's all I have to add.
Anji, thank you, Guruji. Eileen?
I guess I have some questions about the meaning in the sense that, you know, it seems like the difference between, you know, these so-called good actions or you know, the acts that I do, right, that are something like giving to charity or doing virtuous action, right? These types of acts, you know, they could come because of my vanity or, you know, I want my pride, right, ego. But it could also come because I'm, you know, connected. So, you know, I'm connected to my mool and operating from a natural state of connection to a kalpura. And somehow I wonder when I think about the motivation to connect and become that true jog, right? Is that similar to these doing sort of empty actions? If I'm trying to do it to sort of, you know, end the cycle of reincarnation. In other words, you know, I fear death, right? So I want to make this connection for selfish reasons. And I wonder, you know, how do you get to the ultimate root of why connect, right? Why pursue the connection to the creator? Like what is that motivation? Like what is the pure motivation to connect with the creator as compared to, you know, saving myself in from some kind of a pain, you know? Just the difference between the Haume driven action and an action from a pure place.
Anji, thank you, Ji. I think so. I think the one word you mentioned, the motivation, basically, what is our intention? So there's nothing wrong in giving to charities. It's only like our motive. Do we want a good name for us in a society, or we are doing it just because we have an extra and we know there are people who can use it better than us, so why not just give it to them? So is it the intention is just to like one shakna, basically I have enough, like me, whatever I have saved, just distribute so that other people can use it, or I donate because people will say this person is very nice, this person is very good. So the motivation is the driving factor. And so I think that you already mentioned. So what is your like the basic question, like why? Because the
Yeah, so how is that similar maybe or is it similar, right? To saying, well, I want to connect with to the creator because I want to eliminate death, right? I want to eliminate the fear of death. I want to eliminate this painful fearfulness in me of dying. I want to avoid being reincarnated, right? What is this pursuit of being connected to the creator? Where does it come from? Can it come from a place of Hame? Or is the need to, you know, connect coming always from a pure place?
yeah, so I think basically like I will go to other people, but what I see from the first two shloks is that giving this to the like charity or all this thing have nothing to do with what's going to happen. So even like our intention does not matter, that they're saying that this will not result into whatever we're trying to achieve. And so basically irrespective of we are giving it because we have an extra and just we are just doing one chakna, or we are just giving it for the better name. Either of these two actions are not going to be any helpful unless we are at like we go to the Shabad state. But I will just go to other people just to make sure like they understand the question also. Chetandeep?
Hanji, sorry.
And say, so,
You, I think you said it right. Like doing all the charity or good deeds have nothing to do with, uh, especially have nothing to do with connection with the creator as a means, right? But I still want to clarify Eileen's question from what
Let me see if I can, yeah, maybe I can say a slightly different way.
what I'm hearing from you,
Yeah,
Eileen.
go ahead. Sure.
If this is what you were asking, like
Yeah.
basically, what is the pursuit, or why do we want to connect with the creator at all? Is that your question, or what is the motivation?
Yeah, it's like saying if certain actions, right, are good or bad based on what's my intention, then is that similar to to the idea that maybe I want to connect to the creator for some selfish reason? Like if I, what is it possible to want to, um connect to my mool and be a true joke because I'm just afraid or something like that, something that's not a pure motivation? Like, is there, or is it always that the connection,
No, I think you are right.
trying to connect is, yeah,
You're
that's
right.
what I'm asking.
So there are two things you said, right? Certain actions are good or bad. So that's what Gurbani tells us. There are no actions that are good or bad, at least the way we see it or the way we label it. But more importantly, what you said, you are right. We want to connect with the mool or karta due to our selfish reason. And that selfish reason might not be a fear of death, because I don't know, I don't have a fear of death. But at a certain level, at least we feel a certain division, or we feel vichoda, we feel a suffering at some level. And that is what is motivating us to connect with the creator. And it's not out of some pure selfish, some pure motivation. It's due to the pain that we are suffering, that we want to connect and get rid of. That's what Gurbani is saying, Anand pe aa meri mai. Like you will get all the sukh and your dukh will be gone. And that's a good enough reason, or that's a selfish reason, at least I want to connect with the karta.
Hmm. Okay, G, it's interesting.
yeah, I think
Interesting.
because what you are asking is the basic question, not even this related to the slope, but why we do anything we do, like why we are even connected to Gurbani, why, what are we trying to achieve? So basically, indirectly, I think
Well,
question
yeah.
going in that direction.
Yeah, I guess I tend to think, and it could be wrongly, just I need to kind of correct my thoughts, but I tend to think of pursuing that connection is truth and is inherently good, right? Like, I mean, I'm using good kind of maybe in the wrong sense, but it's the best path, right? The best approach. And to take with, with life, like that's the meaning of life, the purpose of life is to get that connection to happen. And so I naturally thought that that's like a pure motivation or a pure intention. And I didn't think so much about looking at that behavior or action or activity and questioning what's my intention, right? When I do that. And I was just thinking, whether that matters or not. Does it matter if I'm, if I'm pursuing that for like some kind of like a wrong reason, I guess.
हाँ जी, गुरजीत वीर जी।
हाँ जी वीर जी।
हाँ जी, can you do the Pauri also for us?
No, ठीक है. I think is the question all clear? Eileen is.
Yeah. You can.
I think I need to think about it, but I think I understand the meaning that, you know, maybe I'm a little bit off from what the message in this Pori, but it's just something I'll need to
Yeah,
think about.
the idea is, you know, we are not kartas. That's the main thing. When we try to act like a karta, that's where we go wrong. Karta is always the hukam. We have to accept him, and all these things are hindering. It says in Sukhmani, when you read, it says, Jab e jane main kish karta. It means he's becoming the hakam, the ruler. He's not a ruler. He's just a sleeping Brahm. He need to wake up. All these things are being done. Either you will go deep into your sleep or you will wake up. So all these are just wake up calls that ego is basically putting us. Ego is like a poison. When any snake bites you, the first thing you get affected by the sleepness. And people will normally say, don't let this person sleep, otherwise he will die. Sometimes they keep him awake for 3 days. That's just to see, because if the poison is in you, you will go to unconsciousness state. So we are already in unconsciousness state, and if you want to come into consciousness, you have to release your karta bhav, what you say. Well, I'm not the creator. I'm a part of the system. I have to accept it that I'm not the karta. All these things are hindering and trying to make me a karta. That's what I think we have been asked to be very careful.
Okay, Ji, thank you. That helps.
Okay, we read the next one. The Pauri will clear everything. So this is basically what I was saying. Sacha sahib ek tu jin sacho sach vartaya, jis tu deh tis mile sach, ta tinni sach kamaya. सतगुर मिलिए सच पाया, जिनके हृदय सच वसाया, मूर्ख सच ना जाननी, मनमुखी जन्म गवाया, which dunya kahe aya. So is questioned in a very drastic way that what for you were born into this world if you haven't gone through this whole story of mukti. The mukti is to be attained by the mind, because the mind is the one who is stuck in Maya. So Sacha Sahib Ektu is Parmeshwar. Jin Sacho Sach Vartaya is what Chaitanya was asking. Karam. This is the Karam. His Karam is to give us such. That's what he do. Vartaya. As you do, na, Langar Vartaya. Same way, this is the real Langar. The Parmeshwar is always distributing the truth. The truth is only with Parmeshwar, with no one else in this world. So that's why he says, Sacha Sahib Ek Tu. Why? I love you. Why I admire you? Because Jin Sacho Sach Vartaya. You are the only entity in the world who can distribute the truth, the knowledge of truth, basically. Just to de. See, this is not in our attainment. We will get it as a blessing. You can't attain it forcibly. Just to de tis mile such. Only they have attained it. Bhagat says, we have tried up to jap is your effort. To make your mind quiet is your effort. But once the mind goes quiet, then you get doe kar jod karun ardas. Then your both hands will be together and then you do the ardas. But our whole system is we haven't joined the hands and we started the ardas. So doe kar jod is your effort to make them together and then stand there in the begging position. When is he going to put it? It's his wish. It's not my sort of cleverness that I can get something from him. But up to joining two hands, the prasad will be given by the Sachkhand, but up to joining, that will be the karam. So I have to join two hands. That's my effort. After that, whenever he wants to give you, he will give you. ਤਾਂ ਤਿੰਨੀ ਜਿਸ ਤੂੰ ਦੇ ਤਿਸ ਮਿਲੇ ਸੱਚ ਦਾ ਤਿੰਨੀ ਸੱਚ ਕਮਾਇਆ ਕਮਾਇਆ ਮੀਨਸ ਕਮਾਈ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਕਮਾਈ means they spend it, they explain it, Although at some time they have been asked to sit on, hot plates. Sometimes they, like Naume Patsha, what was he was doing? He was only trying to tell what is the such. So you can attain these results. On this path, these things are very common. You may receive such a reward, but this is the reward which is actually giving you mukti and then even the naam. So jis tu de tis mile sach da tini sach kamaya, satgur miliye. See, this is the most important thing. No, not Vaheguru miliye. Satgur miliye. If there is someone who has the knowledge of truth and you meet him, he can explain it to you and then you accept it. So the person has to be very honest. There are people who will tell you the mar on the way to walk on the truth. But there are a lot of thugs. Banarske thugs are also around. So you be careful where you go. Satgur miliye. The one Satgur is already attained the Sach. He knows about the Sach. Sach paya, jinke hirday, Sach vasaya. Unhone apne he is within their heart. They have the Shabad Guru. So they can explain you this is the way. Still they can't give you. The Sach can only be explained. Naam ditta nahi ja sakda. There's a lot of misconception. Main naam leke aaya. You can't give naam to anyone. Naam only comes from Parmeshwar. It's not an entity that you can tell about truth. You can tell someone how to join the hands together. That's only you can tell. He has to join it. So, Satgur miliyan sach paya. If you get through Satgur, someone who knows the Gyan, jinke hirday sach vijay, his own hirday is such. But what happens? Murkh sach na janani. But there are a lot of people in this world who are murkh. They don't want to know the Sach. And one of them will be Guru Nanak's own son. He never tried to know what the Sach is. Also, Guru Nanak was able to tell the Sach to a lot of other people. And this happens if you see even Guru Angad's home, his own two boys, or Sahibjadas, what you say, they went up to a stage of going and kicking third Guru. So, some Muraks are there who walk under the instruction of their mind. They will never know about the truth, and they are manmukhs, and they have missed the opportunity to get Janam is Vinonkat, to get the Janam into Sachkhand. Janam Gavaya, and then Guru Nanak says, ultimately you will be asked when you leave this body, go back to Devlok. They will ask you, oh, we send you there. You haven't attained anything. You have a lot of discredit against you, so you go back again. So this reincarnation will happen. So, which dunya kahe aaya is a very big question. We should all know for what we have come here and are we going on the right track. So, Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Thank you, Viji. I think we are running out of time today. Eileen, any question on this body?
No, I think it's well, I have one question we may not answer today. Maybe it's something I think about, but it's I understand, the Satgur Milye and the Sach Paya, and then you have Sach Kamaya. But I guess I'm just, for some reason, I'm stuck on what is that Sach Kamaya? What does that really mean? What does it mean to practice the truth? What does that mean? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What is that?
The practice means you will, your body won't come in the way of truth. If you have to lay down your body, you will lay down, but you will never budge from the truth. Now, when fifth Guru was asked, can you put something about Muhammad in this book? He says, I can't put an iota. This is the Sachdi Kamai, that this is a perfect writing. So he he gave his body, or even ninth Guru, Sees diya par sir na diya. They live by this is how you tell people that the truth is alive, that this body is nothing but, just it's not a kennel, it's just it's an outer cover. It's an outer shell. I can leave this, but the truth will prevail. So this is how.
So, Viji, what is meant by exactly in our daily life? So how we know we are buying such or we are on the wrong track?
No, If we are ready to bribe someone, it means we are not on the right track. This is one of the things. If we are caught somewhere, we just look for reasons. You have to accept it that this has happened and nothing is in my control. That's it. If I've done something wrong, I have to resign. I have to resign.
Can I add something?
Hanji Chetan.
The question Eileen asked, like what Sach Maya looks like. So the way I understand what Gurjeet Ji alluded to, that living in our natural state that we were made to is Sach Maya, right? On an everyday basis, that's what's called Naam Japna, that's what's called Hukam Charana, that's what Sach Maya, to live in our natural state for what we were made for as a human species. That's what I understand by Sach Maya. But I have few comments on the Pauri if we want to address that.
Hanji, Chetan, do you want to add that also?
So the Pauri, I think, right, rather than taking it as a third person, the word starting with Murak and Manmukhi, rather than calling anybody else Murak, I think what Guru Nanak is saying, as Gurjeet Virji started the slok first by sharing the meanings of every word internally rather than externally, Purkha, Virkha, Tirtha. So the word here, Murak, is addressed for my man, not for anybody else. And what this Pankti is telling me is that Man Mukhi. So Mukhi is leader, right? So my man that has become a leader or a Chaudhary or a Mukhi, right? So when my man has become a Mukhi, that man is Murak. Murak sach na janni, man Mukhi. Mukhi banke, like मैं अपना, like I've lost my janam. And the second line actually strikes me that can be taken in either way that I've been struggling with. Second line of this body, jis tu dekh tis mile sach. So in the first slok we read jo hari, right? So the one जिन्हें अपना हार देता, जिन्हें अपना बल हार देता. So in the similar sense, जो तू दे, sorry, जिस तू दे, right? One ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਨ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਆਪ ਗਵਾਏ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਛ ਪਾਏ ਮਾਨ, ਜਿਸ ਤੂੰ ਦੇ, those get the such, this mile such, the one who give up, the one who surrender, they get the such. So this was a different take on this line. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Hanji, thank you, Virji. Eileen, any other feedback?
No, thank you, Ji. I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Gurjeet Virji, any final comments? We can continue next week.
Really, Manmukhi Shabd plural, it's not a Manmukha, it's Manmukhi. It has to be read with a bindi. All those who were not, because there are more Manmukhs. Manmukhi Janam Gavaya, and it's always Tu. Tu is always second person, is attained, normally said for Brahma, who is more enlightened than you. Like for Man, Tu is his mool, but for them together, it becomes as Tu, second person or third person, whatever you say. So in both cases, Manmukha ne Janam Gavaya hai, because they never understood the truth. They were always in illusion that they are on the path of truth. They never consulted Satgur. They became self-styled Satgurs, and then they were not able to attain much. So this is my intake. Ji Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Thank you, Ji. And I think the last line is very important, like what Eileen also mentioned, which dunya ka hai aaya, that we should reflect every day on this line, like what we are doing and what path we are taking. So thank you everyone for joining today, and we will continue next week with questions on this body and then 49. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.